Hi everyone, this is going to be the second part of the Carcosa review, and I've got Tim on the line as we had with the last part of the video. So go ahead and say hi, Tim.
Hello everyone, this is Tim.
And in any case, I am, as you can tell, sitting on my floor, so we have multiple levels of non-standard going on today. I actually have a physical copy of the book, and this is just a little glossy dust jacket. Take that off and you have the cover that Tim was talking about being very very pretty. It's a faux leather cover. It has a little insignia on the spine there and that sort of thing. But anyway, where were we? We were talking specifically about sort of various monsters and whatnot in the setting. I think is kind of where we left off. And
yeah, I think we're pretty much at Shub-Niggurath.
Yeah,
I think that's how you pronounce that.
Shub-Niggurath, which have apparently 6 different main races of beings, but the creature itself, as per sort of canon of Cthulhu mythos, kind of spawns life wherever it goes and at all times continually, and then reabsorbs life also continually. Whatever survives that usually becomes a spawn of Shub-Niggurath for the player to contend with at a later date. But the 6 main races are apparently listed, and these are probably not quite canon, but as Bayaki, Deep Ones, the Great Race, the Migo or Mygo, I don't know how to pronounce that one,
yeah.
Primordial Ones, and Shoggoths, which, as you can tell, we didn't mention the reptile race in there, the snake men of before, the Ophidians or whatever you want to call them, but they're I'm jumping around a little bit, but they're the race that originally sort of originates the setting, and one of the things that really caught my eye whenever I was reading it was that they were the originators of the sorcery, and man just kind of scratches the surface of this ancient art of sorcery. And one of the things that's kind of the creation story of all these different colored races of men is that they are in fact entirely bred for human sacrifice. So and this is not really a secret of the setting, this is kind of well known by everyone. So it kind of puts a dystopian stint on the entire thing at the start. So you're really you're in kind of the blender, as it were. What were your thoughts on that, Tim? You were talking about. Well, go ahead.
Well, I think what's interesting is sorcery was devised by these reptile creatures, and they used humans as basically as we would use livestock. The nasty thing is that, as time went on and those snake men died off, humans emulated them, at least tried to, in very minor ways, very pathetically. But they also are sacrificing their own kind, which I think is even worse if you think about it that way. So
yeah, it really sets up where mankind's nature in the universe is, because if you look at it from like a standard D&D standpoint, we are in essence the little ball of bat guano that you squash in order to cast a fireball.
Yeah, we are nothing but spell components.
Yeah,
so,
entirely.
Save or die is pretty much mentioned. I didn't count as many times as it's been mentioned, but a lot of the descriptions have that in there. So going into it, you know that humans, like you said, are pretty much bat guano, and if they survive, they're lucky.
Oh yeah, it's very lucky. Of course, that's entirely built in with the strange hit dice / weaponry system that we've already mentioned in the previous video. Yeah, there are no horses. This is a setting that really set up to kind of have a little bit of a savage lands kind of set up too. So instead of races, they have actually got sort of reptilian emulations of those. So they end up looking a lot more like dinosaurs. In fact, that's kind of where it's heading. It sort of has. There was one of the taglines I saw on the net at one point was that you were going to be cavemen riding the back of dinosaurs shooting laser guns at Deep Ones, and
yeah,
and
that
why?
Sounds awesome.
And why? Because fuck you. That's why.
I think it's kind of cool that some of the things they can ride are like insectoids. I don't know.
different strange and wonderful beasts kind of show up in it as well, just to kind of continue to give you that alien feel of the entire world. And it really sets up one interesting thing about the entire book, is that it is in fact completely built toward the specifics, the intricate, unique specifics of the setting, and all the mundane stuff is kind of left for the GM to decide. So you kind of get the ability to make it your own through kind of the mundane stuff. Like, for example, what does the white man race, or the black man race, or the brown men, or the red men, or any of those various colors, what exactly does their culture consist of, if they have one at all? Like the various customs and beliefs, and their structure of their government, that sort of thing. They do talk a little bit about governmental structure in the Hex map, but mostly it's like the person who rules whatever town thinks they're the supreme ruler of the universe. So they have a very illustrious title, no matter who they are.
Well, you talked a little bit about the mundane things left up to the GM. I
yes.
think Hex descriptions pretty much handle that perfectly. They list 2 main points for each Hex, but GMs are, freely open to make up anything else that's in that Hex.
Yeah, and they have one Hex that is overly detailed, made into an entire adventure of its own. And inside the back cover I have a picture of that Hex, which I'm showing right now. And it ends up becoming lots of littler Hexes, and really you're kind of given this there's sort of a kind of, he's not really holding your hand much, but he's giving you the indication that you can write whatever you want in the blank spaces, and there are lots of them.
Yeah, I believe that's the Fungoid Gardens of the Bone Sorcerer.
Yes, the example adventure, or sample adventure.
And I like that it comes with sub-hexes too.
Yeah.
Like it's like hexes, and then hexes inside the hexes. So.
Yeah. Yep. So basically, yeah, there are 400 different hexes that are detailed in the main map, and each one of them has 2 different details on them, and of course each one can be shrunk down into something that looks like that, and given a lot more depth inside of it. And really, it's basically it's built as a GM toolbox instead of being sort of a big setting that gives you every last point of interest, really, or every last little minute detail of it. You kind of get, here is the ridiculously important things here and there, but there are things that are really not necessary for us to say here, but you can put them in your own game and or make your own adventure having to deal with that.
Another thing I really liked about the Shub Niggeroth being in the setting, or however you pronounce that, is that it is basically a monster, a unique monster creator. Yeah, it has spawned those 6 races we talked about, but it is basically the GM's license to make up weird shit and throw it in the setting. Oh yeah,
and that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty inherent that it seemed like even through the Hex descriptions they have several dozen different descriptions of various spawn of Shub Niggeroth, and whatever. Basically, you get the idea that they created these, random, like sort of random esoteric creature generator kind of way, but then they took out like any thing that looked sort of animalistic and sort of added more jelly, more octopus suckers, and that sort of thing. So you end up with amorphous creatures that are very dangerous but look very aquatic at times, and at other times they are not as aquatic, or more insectoid. But really, that was kind of the 2 avenues they went down for the most part.
I like that it talked about men worshipping things. Like they can deify such things as like the old ones, monsters, artifacts, a center of power, and a lot of it is them serving it out of fear or greedy desire for material gain.
Of course, yes. That's honestly, at times that seems a little bit like I guess a pessimistic view of the real world, to be honest. And it's kind of set up in the game in the same sort of fashion. You worship whatever large things are near you, I guess, or whatever big things that define your existence. At least that's how it's set up in the game. And so there's a lot of people who worship the great old ones, and worship the primordial ones, and worship the snake men of yester century. And there might even be some crazy people who worship the Greys, for that matter.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Definitely see that.
Yeah, so we will welcome our saucer wielding overlords.
Some more things that are in there. I guess there's random encounters for the wilderness, and also random monsters.
Yes, random, and I don't think they didn't have a rumor table in here anywhere, I don't believe.
I don't believe so. That's in the Isle of the Unknown where I saw the rumor table.
Yeah, so there's no rumor table in there, but yes, they do have those other the random monsters, or random spawn of Shub Niggeroth, which is a kind of a mini creature generator, creating, well, of course, random monstrosities. But yeah, And yeah, I also wanted to make sort of the end of this video, because we're coming down to the wire a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about stuff you could do with the setting. Tim had a cool idea in between the videos, and I wanted him to share it, if that's okay.
Which cool idea was that?
Playing this straight as kind of a Call of Cthulhu adventure, using yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think since there's so much Cthulhu flavor in this, obviously the Chaosium Call of Cthulhu rules might spring to mind to be able to run this setting.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically made for Lamentations, but I think with there's enough flavor in this that it wouldn't be too difficult to run this with just straight Call of Cthulhu, if that's what you wanted to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. It seems very portable in that regard. Some of the concepts wouldn't transfer well. Obviously the goofy hit dice thing wouldn't transfer well. I call it the goofy hit dice because I don't particularly enjoy that mechanic, but at the same time I see its purpose in there and see its place in there, and I think it's kind of interesting even if I would never use it. Go ahead.
Another thing too about the game is that all the random generators, like the space alien armaments, the random robots, mutations, all that kind of stuff at the end. I mean, you could pretty much use that probably in any sort of game if you just pull out all the mechanical bits. Yeah,
like I could see it going into a gamma world pretty easily, or other sort of science fiction-y games that you wanted to present, although they may not be it may not fit exactly perfectly, because it is honestly pretty stylized for this game particularly, at least in some cases. In some cases, you do have like blaster cannon rifles and stuff, but that stuff's generic enough to where it's probably already exists in whatever setting you were going to port it to. But yeah, there's a lot of that in there though too, and I do basically I enjoy it as a even just in all honesty, kind of a conversation piece in some cases, obviously, because I'm not sure I would use the entire setting as per usual because of the ridiculously mature nature of it, and I've got kids, so I wouldn't want that sort of stuff to happen during a game, but it's still kind of a work of art in my opinion.
See, when I read through this, the first thing I thought was, I should really run this at a convention. Maybe like a later time slot, just like a one-shot and just make it deadly as hell, because I think that it fits the setting,
Nice, and you should definitely tape it and put it on YouTube, and then we've got we'll have the Jack Tricks tracks coming back, and Mad and all that sort of stuff will be back in full swing.
Well, I've run pretty terrible games at conventions, so this would be right up my alley.
I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I'm just saying that it's very, very maturely minded, and if you have you'll have to have either a certain degree of maturity or a certain degree of immaturity for the game to work out pretty well.
Yeah, I guess I meant terrible in quotes, as like morally terrible.
Oh, okay, I see. The evil campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed all the games I've run. I like them all. I think this is a great game. That's what I meant. So.
Oh, okay. And so there've been okay. Well, this is coming down to the wire, and I just wanted to say that this has been kind of an experimental review. There are times where I was looking over there because that's where the notes are for the game and stuff. I apologize if that disrupted anybody's fun. I apologize if I didn't quite give you guys a complete and utter tour of the book, as it were. But I do thank Tim for doing this with me. I don't know if it was me who initiated this or him, but it's kind of a strange story. Initially, I got the word about Carcosa from Tim. He said something about one of his friends getting it and just kind of showing it to him, and then I went and looked it up online and bought it, and then eventually I talked Tim into getting it. So it ended up going in a kind of a circular pattern to get all the way back to
non-Euclidean maybe.
Not so much, but I mean, it's just kind of a funny thing that happened. So I thought that maybe we should have this sort of weird review as well, and maybe we'll do another one in the future, and it'll be better next time. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and have a good time.